Chapter 5. Quick or Slow. Edmund Vane came home from the diet with the look of a man carrying water in his cupped hands. He set his gloves down before he spoke. He always did that first, squaring them edge to edge on the table by the door, and Isobel had learned to read the day's weather from the gloves long before he opened his mouth. Gently for a day won, precisely for a day lost. Tonight he set them down precisely. Then he moved the left one a quarter inch, as if it had disappointed him. "They'll vote the monopoly," he said. "The Coin Guild and 3 others, and the priests behind them. 1 license for the whole opening under the Duke's seal, and whoever holds it names the price on every hull that moves." He sat down heavily by the fire, still in his gown, which was unlike him. The fur at the collar was dark where the harbour fog had been at it. He looked tired in the particular way of a careful man who has spent a whole day being right in a room full of people who profit from his being wrong. The draft went round the benches today. Anyone who put out on his own coin, betting on open trade and a first keel, finished. As it's written, the seizing runs back to the first day of the thaw. It would make contraband of a cargo that is already sold, off a keel that is already home. "Already home," Isobel said. "So the law would reach back for it, not from the bell, from the stones. As it's written." He held his hands to the fire. "The committee sits within the week, and I mean to gut that line on the floor of it. Seizure to run from the declaration and no earlier. Landed cargo ransomed at value instead of taken. Days of grace for any keel already at sea before the seal." He said it evenly, in his bench voice. "I'll have the small houses with me, and perhaps 2 of the Navy castles. I counted the room today, and the votes against are bought already. It is the best clause I will ever get a hearing for, and I do not expect to get it." He said all of it as news of the world. He did not say his brother's name. The not saying filled the room like smoke. Edmund kept a private ledger, and it had not balanced in 2 winters, and he no longer opened it even to himself. He had won. That was the unbearable part. The seat, bought with 10 years of patience. The name, half scrubbed clean of its old ruin. The woman, asleep an arm's length from him every night of the world. Even the face, the good Vane face, which opened doors all on its own, so that he could never be certain a single door had opened for anything he had done. He could not name one thing he held that he had taken from Rob in fair contest. He had only ever picked up what Rob set down. A man can love his brother with the whole heart he shows the world. And still, down in the silt beneath the love where he does not go with a lamp, need him gone. And now the Diet had laid a knife on the table and called it law. Because he knew what was standing in the harbour. The whole city knew. Reading the draft at his own bench, with the clean horror of a man good at sums, he had seen the whole shape of the thing he would never have to do. If the charter passed as written, the law would do quietly what his own hands never could. It would unwind the sail, seize the cargo, break the venture, and put Rob Vane back out to sea a beggar, too poor to stay and too proud to be kept. And Edmund would fight the clause, honestly, on the record, and lose because he had already counted the room. He could feel the thought settling in him, smooth as a clerk laying out papers for a signature, and he hated it, and he did not send it away. "It's Rob's keel," Isobel said. It was not a question. Of course she knew. The whole wharf knew. By now the harbour children were chalking the dark ship on warehouse walls. He looked at her face for what he was afraid to find in it, and could not be sure he had not found it. Attention. Worse than love, attention, and harder to forgive. It was the stillness she fell into over a difficult page, the whole mind arriving at the table at once, and she had turned it on him. No one has said so to me, Edmund said. The wharf says so to anyone standing on it. The wharf is not the Diet. I sit on a bench that will vote on that cargo. There are things it is better for me to be able to swear I was never told. Edmund. She folded her hands on the table. When the charter comes to the floor, which way does your guild bind you? He could lie to the Diet. Lying to the Diet was half the work of sitting in it. He found, as he found every time, that he could not lie to her. It binds me to the monopoly, he said. When it comes to the floor, I'll vote the gate. And your brother? I'll fight for the clause that would spare him. The fire ate a knot in the wood and spat. There are men on my bench who would tell you that's one fight more than I owe him. That isn't what I asked. No. He looked at his hands. Ask it then. If it comes to an hour when you could be quick for him, or slow, she said, which will you be? He thought of the committee room waiting for him at the week's end and the votes he had already counted, and of how restful it was going to be, underneath the honest anger, to lose. I don't know, he said. It was the truest thing he had said all day, and he watched her hear it.